Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and taking doing an Elemental Hero deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one for you guys because this deck is an extremely nostalgic deck thing and summon out all sorts of awesome Elemental Hero fusion monsters. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name description every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, for the vanilla Elemental Heroes, we're going to be playing a single copy of Avion, one copy of Bursenatrix, one copy of Sparkman, one Clayman, and a single Elemental Hero Neos. You need to play these vanilla ones for this Elemental Hero deck so we can go over all of our awesome fusion plays. Plus, it's amazing to be able to play the classic Elemental Hero monsters for the vanilla monsters. So we can go in for all sorts of awesome fusion plays, from Thunder Giant to Flame Wingman, even some really cool Neos fusion monsters. And then play a single copy of Elemental Hero Bubbleman. It wouldn't be all of the classic boss monsters or all the different classic Elemental Heroes without playing a single copy of Bubbleman. Bubbleman is amazing because if this card is the only card in your hand, you can special summon this card, and when this card is summoned, you can draw two cards if there are no other cards on your side of the field and in your hand, which is a pretty cool effect. But this card is amazing to be able to play as a one-of in the build, as it's one of the original 5 Elemental Heroes. We then play a single copy of Elemental Heroes Spirit of Neos. Spirit of Neos is really cool as a one-of in the build, just help us going for some really cool plays. As when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position, and if you do, it cannot be destroyed by battle. And if this card is special summoned, you can add from your deck to your hand a polymerization or a spell trap card that mentions an Elemental Hero monster card in its name. Also, during your main phase, you can actually shuffle this card into your deck, and if you do special summon an Elemental Hero normal monster from your deck, which is a great ability to help us summon another copy of Neos or any of our vanilla monsters, which is really nice. We can play 3 copies of Stratos. Stratos is definitely a 3-of in this build, because this card has the ability, when this card is summoned out to your side of the field, you get to add a hero monster from your deck to your hand, which is going to help you go in for all of your really cool fusion plays. So this card is really important for the deck to help you get the exact hero that you need. We then play 2 copies of Shadow Mist. Shadow Mist is really cool as a 2-of, because this card has a great effect that if it's special summoned, you can add a change quick play spell card from your deck to your hand, which is going to be your copy of Mass Change, or if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a hero monster from your deck to your hand, except for the copy of Shadow Mist, but you can only use one effect of this card per turn and only once that turn. But this card is great as a 2-of in the build to help us go in for some really cool plays, and use this card as a searcher. And play a single copy of Liquid Soldier. Liquid Soldier is great as a 1-of because it helps us draw in the deck. As when this card is normal summon, you can actually target a level 4 or lower hero monster in the graveyard and special summon it. But if this card is used as a fusion tool for a hero monster and it's sent to the grave or it's banished, you can draw 2 and then discard a card, which is a great effect to help us dig into the deck. You can play a single copy of Honest Neos. Honest Neos is honestly amazing in this build as a hand trap. As this card has the ability to quick effect, you can discard this card, target a hero monster on the field, and gains 2,500 attack points until the end of the turn, helping you go in for game. This card is amazing in the build, just to give you a little bit of an attack boost so that you can swing in for game. You can play a single copy of Vision Hero Vion. Vision Hero Vion is great as a 1-of because this card actually sends our copy of Shadow Mist from our deck to the graveyard. And since this card is normal or special summon, you can actually send a hero monster from the deck to the graveyard, and also once per turn you can banish a hero monster in the graveyard to add polymerization from our deck to our hand. This card is a poly searcher, which is why I play this card as a 1-of in the build, plus it helps us send our copy of Shadow Mist to the graveyard so we can get an additional search. We then play 3 copies of Crosskeeper. Crosskeeper is really good as a 3-of in the build as well, because you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard to special summon an Elemental Hero monster or a Neospatial monster from the hand or the graveyard, but negate its effect if summoned from the graveyard. And if you special summon an Elemental Hero fusion monster while the card's in the graveyard, you can banish the card to draw 2 cards and then place a card from your hand on the bottom of the deck, which is a crazy powerful effect just to help you dig in the deck for more cards so we can go for more fusion plays. We then also play 3 copies of King of the Swamp. King of the Swamp is definitely a 3-of in the build. This is a fusion substitute monster that can basically count as any material for a fusion summon, and also it has the ability you can discard this card to be able to add a polymerization from your deck to your hand, which is a great effect to instantly get to a copy of polymerization so we can go for our awesome fusion plays. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Rhoda. Rhoda is really important in the deck as a 1-0 to be able to search out the exact hero monster that we need. And like a single copy of Miracle Fusion. Miracle Fusion is definitely a 1-F in the build. It is searchable off your copy of Sunrise to help you go in for a bunch of awesome fusion plays by just banishing the materials from the graveyard. We like a single copy of Favorite Hero. Favorite Hero is really cool as an equip spell that's actually searchable off your copy of Infernal Rage. This card lets you equip it only to a level 5 or higher hero monster, and if you control a card in your field zone, the equipped monster gains attack equal to its original defense points. Also, your opponent cannot target it with card effects. And at the start of the battle phase, you can actually activate a field spell directly from your hand or deck, which is an amazing ability, but you can only use the effect of this card once per turn. Also, when the effect or when the equipped monster attacks and destroys an opponent's monster in battle, you can send this card to the graveyard, and the attacking monster can make a second attack in a row, which is a great effect to help you go for game. And the field spell we're actually activating, since it is an elemental hero deck, we're actually playing a single copy of Skyscraper. Skyscraper is really cool to be able to activate off the effect of Favorite Hero, as this card has the ability to when a monster that includes an elemental hero in its card's name attacks, and it's lower than the attacking monster. Basically, it attacks into a monster that's larger than it, it gains 1,000 attack points, which is a great ability to basically just swing in for an extra 1,000 attack points, which is really cool to help you go in for game and swing over larger monsters. But this card is really cool to be able to play in the deck because it's such a classic card. We then play 2 copies of Mass Change. Mass Change is really cool to go in for our mass hero cards like Dark Law, which is just an amazing boss monster to be able to make, but this card is great to help us tag out our cards off our side of the field to go in for some really cool masked hero monsters. We then play 3 copies of Emergency Call. Emergency Call is great as a 3-up to be able to add our copies of our elemental hero monsters from our deck to your hand, which is very important for our fusion plays. We then play 3 copies of A Hero Lives. A Hero Lives is amazing as a 3-up. If we don't control a face-up monster, we can pay half our life points to special summon a level 4 lower elemental hero monster from our deck to our side of the field, which is usually going to be our copy of Stratos, so we can search out the exact card that we need without even wasting our normal summon. We then play 3 copies of Polymerization. Polymerization is very important for this deck to be able to fusion summon into our awesome fusion monsters, and a really cool 3-up in the deck. We then also play 3 copies of Droplet. Droplet is just really good in this build to be able to play to basically just turn off the opponent's field, and just a really cool 3-of in the build that we can basically go in for our fusion monsters and turn our opponent's field off and half the attack points of our opponent's monsters we can swing in for game. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing 1, and that's going to be a single copy of Favorite Contact. Favorite Contact is really good as a 1-0 to be able to let you special summon a fusion monster from your extract that mentions a hero monster as material, ignoring its summoning conditions by placing the fusion materials mentioned on it on the bottom of the deck in any order from among cards from your hand, field, graveyard, and or banishment, which is a great effect to help you go in for your copy of Shining Neo Swingman, which is such a powerful effect. And I love that about this card, that it basically even shows you that you need to summon Shining Neo Swingman by having Elemental Hero Shining Neos on the card and a copy of Elemental Hero Neos, basically tagging into Shining Neo Swingman, which is so cool. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start with a single copy of Elemental Hero Flame Wingman Infernal Rage. This card is very important in the deck as a 1-of, because this card actually searches out our favorite cards, which is amazing, because on Fusion Summon, this card actually lets us search out a favorite card, which is amazing. And this card also has a really cool effect that you can actually attribute this card that was Fusion Summoned using a normal monsters as material to special summon a level 7 or lower elemental monster from the deck or the extract that cannot be normal summoner set, ignoring its summoning conditions, basically letting us summon out a really cool hero monster, which is absolutely amazing. This card is really good as a 1-up in the build. I did consider playing 2 in this particular build, but I decided just to play a single copy, but it's amazing to help us search out a copy of Favorite Contact or Favorite Hero. We'll make a single copy of Shining Neo Swingman, one of my favorite cards in the entire game, and probably my favorite hero fusion monster now. This card is amazing as a boss monster, just requiring a copy of Neos plus a Wingman fusion monster to make this card. It must be fusion summoned against 300 attack for each monster in your graveyard. Also, it cannot be destroyed by card effects, and if this card is special summoned, you can actually destroy cards your opponent controls up to the number of different attributes among the monsters on the field. And this card is absolutely amazing to be able to pop multiple cards on the field. And this card destroys a monster by battle, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack points. Basically, when you swing this card one time, you're usually going to win. You can play a single copy of Wake Up Your Elemental Hero, because this card is just an awesome OTK piece in the build, and it's a really cool card overall in the deck. And play a sealed copy of Sunrise. Sunrise searches your copy of Miracle Fusion, which is why I play this card as a one of in the build. And play a sealed copy of Thunder Giant. Thunder Giant is just so cool and so nostalgic, which is why we actually play Sparkman and Clayman in the build. But this card is really cool to be able to play in the deck, because it lets you discard a card from your hand to be able to destroy a face-up monster on the field with original attack that's less than or equal to this card, basically 2400 or less, which is a great effect. I also play a single copy of the classic Flame Wingman. Flame Wingman is so cool to be able to play in the deck, and it's actually why I just played a single copy of Infernal Rage, because we are playing the original Flame Wingman as well. But this card is so cool to be able to play, and has a great ability. When this card destroys a monster and sends it to the graveyard by battle, you actually get to inflict damage to your opponent's life points equal to the attack of that monster, which is a great effect to be able to just inflict more battle damage to your opponent. And then a single copy of Elemental Hero, The Shining. Shining is just a really good option to be able to make in the deck, and a really cool card. One copy of Exterota. This card is really good as a one of in the build as well. This card gains 100 attack for each elemental monster in your graveyard. I really like this card as a one of in the deck, but I only feel like you need a single copy. Then a single copy of our Absolute Zero. Absolute Zero is absolutely amazing, as this card has the effect that it gains 500 attack for each water monster on the field, except a copy of this card. And if this card leaves the field, destroy all monsters that your opponent controls, which is a great ability to be able to use. You can play a single copy of Darklaw. Darklaw is the best masked hero because it's basically a walking floodgate, and it's just really cool to be able to play in the build. One copy of Blast, so we can basically tag out our copy of Stratos just in case we need to. One copy of Trinity. Trinity is great to help you go in for game, because during the battle phase, or during the turn this card is fusion summoned, its attack is doubled from its original attack, boosting this card to 5,000. And this card can actually attack 3 times during a battle phase, but it can't attack your opponent directly, but it's very easy to OTK your opponent with this card. One copy of Dread Decimator. Dread Decimator is really good in the deck as one of, because this card, and also any hero monsters card points to, gains 100 attack for each hero monster with the different names in the graveyard, and this card also does piercing damage, which is great. One copy of Wonder Driver, so we can recover Polymerization, or a copy of Miracle Fusion from the graveyard, which is great to be able to do. And a single copy of Infernal Devicer. Infernal Devicer is actually one of the most important link monsters in this deck, because this card actually searches out your fusion materials because it has the effect. If this card is link summoned, you can reveal a hero fusion monster in your extract, and if you do, add up to 2 of its materials that's listed on it with different names from your deck to your hand, which is such a powerful effect to instantly grab the exact card that you need. And it's amazing to be able to play in this build, so we can basically grab the exact cards we need, like our vanilla hero monsters, between revealing a copy of our Flame Wingman to grab Bersenatrix and Avion, or revealing our copy of Thunder Giant to grab our copy of Clayman and Sparkman, so we can go in for our fusion plays. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played an Elemental Hero deck before, you should definitely give this deck a try, because it's super fun to be able to play. It's super nostalgic, and just an amazing deck overall to be able to play as a classic hero deck. So that's going to do for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad. We'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.